Oh, hello. Who am I, you ask? Well, that's on a need-to-know basis, and I guess you need to know. I'm Donnell from the Watching It Podcast, a little podcast where me and my co-host Robert dive into different TV shows and movies to give our viewpoints and reviews. TV shows like The Boys to the 1999 hit movie The 13th Floor. So if that sounds like something you'd be interested in, come join us at watchitpod.com or on any podcast provider.
Testing, 1, 2, 3.
Testing, 1, 2, 3.
Thanks for joining the Backlook Cinema Podcast with Zach and Zoe.
On this show, we take a look back at the movies of yesteryear.
That means we're going to talk about some of the best movies from the 70s, 80s, and early 90s.
So thank you for joining us. Now let's get it started in here. Hi, this is Zach.
And this is Zoe, and welcome to the Backlook Cinema Podcast with Zach and Zoe, where we take a look back at the movies of yesteryear. And this is our 46th episode. Whoa, we're moving right along. 46th episode. So the reason we started this show was to strengthen the bond between my son Zachary and me, Zoe. And we look at movies that I loved when I was growing up, before Zachary was ever born. And we get his impressions on these great movies.
If you like our show, then rate and review us on Apple Podcasts, podchaser.com, or your favorite podcast app.
Ooh, oh my God, my script disappeared. I don't know what to say now. I can't find it.
Well, you better
It's
hurry.
gone. The script disappeared.
Uh-huh.
What am I going to do now? Okay, I'm back.
Uh-huh.
I found the script. Please follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. See, I'm forgetting everything. Without the script, I can't do nothing.
Uh-huh. Yeah, sure.
And you can find the details of our socials in the show notes. So, what you been up to?
Going on Amazon again, looking at Gundams, going to the Bandai website, looking at Gundams. They're like, what's my next Gundam I want to build? I want to build a PG, but I don't feel like dealing with the pains of my fingers. I don't feel like dealing with the real grade because I absolutely hate the frames. I don't feel like dealing with the, I think, master grade 1/144th because, it's small. Yeah, sure, short little steps, tiny, small, but no. I can go a little bigger. I think 1/100 high grade, master grade, whichever. And I'm just picking what Gundam I want to build. Also been playing Smite, trying to get my what was it? It's like this battle pass up. I'm like at the second tier of level, I think 39, and I have to get to 60 before I think 4 days are up. So,
You pretty far away.
So
from that.
me and my friend are trying to grind as long as we can.
Right.
So yes, I will be staying up pretty late so I can grind. I tried to do that last night, but then irritating randoms got on my nerve with their nonsense BS-ery of not either knowing how to put whatever on a god, not knowing how to rotate, or just whatever else because they just don't know what to do.
Oh, so you had to deal with the noobs.
I wouldn't call them noobs, especially when I don't know what to call them. Because me and my friend, me and Andre already agree that even if they do have like some type of level to their gods, or they have 1 star or 20 stars for no reason, because it's like they don't want to choose anyone else but that one god. And I'm just like, I don't think there's a point at this moment because either A, they just got it because they just kept grinding on, or B, they got it because, they're good. Either way, it's just nonsense.
Right, and no one can help with that. You and your friend are just going to have to figure that out. Is just you two together, or is there a couple more people?
I mean, sometimes it's just the two of us. Other times, we do have like 2 other people that join, but it's just mainly just us 2 playing. We did have Malik on, but since he's ungrateful and he plays other games and he's a non-trusted person because he want to betray us.
Not he's unreliable. You mean he's because he doesn't play all the time?
Yeah, he's ungrateful.
So, what you call it? So our fish tank, it's got a little more colorful. I got some more those neon textures.
Yeah, you got 3 neon fish.
Yeah, the neon tetras. So. Yeah, it's way more color. It's all the neon fish and 2 giant goldfish. Or actually, it's 1 giant goldfish.
And then I forgot.
And then
it's
a shibuken goldfish. Yeah. I don't know why it's all gold because I didn't buy a goldfish on purpose.
No. I did because I meant I got some feeder fish, and Gemini was.
That's right.
And then I
this
was
is
like,
your fault.
not my fault. Here's the thing. I was like, you know what? Go ahead. Keep the goldfish. We're going to have the goldfish because Gemini should eat it. I didn't think Gemini was not going to be in the mood to eat live fish. And I was like, oh, okay, Gemini. Sure. You're a turtle. Don't eat the live fish. Then I had to move to the other tank. And then I was like, oh, no. They're getting too big. They're bullying the guppies. Blah, 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 blah. That's the reason why the guppies dying, even though that's not true.
Right.
Then I had to move him over here.
Right.
And as you can see, he's just a gigantor.
Yeah, he's a giant. I've never seen a goldfish get that big, but I guess we keep a good tank.
Wonder why he's that big? Because he learned from the other ones that was there before him.
And the other thing is that goldfish are they can live in the filthiest conditions, and they're filthy animals. so that's why they live a long time. So it's like it's amazing. But at least he looks like he's doing pretty well.
He looks like a fish you can find in the river when
basically,
you fish.
Yeah. And if they do end up, like if this fish ended up in the river, it'll grow the size of a football. And
like if we have random people come over like that, a goldfish, you get that from the river? No, actually, it used to be small. It was supposed to be food for the turtle, but then it decided, hey, you know what? I want to live.
Yeah, it basically hulked out. So also on
I think they put steroids in fish food. That's all I can say.
None of the other fish are getting bigger. It's just that one. Not even
because that one eats the most.
Not even a plico.
I told you.
It
big. Learned from the other ones before it.
I guess. So oh shoot. My bad. I had a yawn coming on. Had to get out. It kept coming out. It was like struggling to get out. Finally had to let it out. So today is the 18th. And on September 17th, I appeared as a guest on a podcast called It Goes Down in the PM with the host, Jolene Moreno. And Jolene, we had talks, and she has a great podcast, and she invited me on her show. And we talked about the Aquafina comment that is a comment that Aquafina made. Do you know what we're talking about?
Not really.
So Aquafina, she was she was a co-star in Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings.
Right.
She was the sidekick to Shang-Chi.
Oh, her. Uh-huh.
What's her name? I forgot the name of the character she played. Kate.
Yeah.
Or Katie, something like that. So anyways, and she was great in that movie. And she was fun to watch. But at a press event or in an interview or something like that, somebody asked her a question about roles and race or something like that, and basically she said to the effect that she didn't want to do a role, she didn't want to take a role where that was written by somebody about Asian people, where she would do a stereotypical Asian accent, right? And that would have been okay by itself, but the problem is that earlier in her career, she started off as a rapper. Like, it's kind of like a comedic rapper.
Right.
But in her rap songs, she would do like a black accent. Like she would sound like a street person or a black person.
Right.
In her rap songs. Like, in some of her songs, you wouldn't be able to tell if it's her or if it was somebody like Nicki Minaj or Foxy Brown or somebody like that. So nobody really had a problem with her doing it, right? Because it was kind of like I never heard anybody complain about her. But then she made this comment, and it was like, oh, so you're okay with doing a black accent or a black person's accent, but you don't want to do accent of Asian people, and you're an Asian person, right? So that was what the controversy was about.
I was going to say, how long ago was he doing the rapping up to before she became an actor?
Well, her first couple of rap albums came out about 5 years ago. So
maybe she learns from her mistakes. I mean, who knows?
It's just the fact that she did it.
Yes, she did it.
She did it, but she's saying that now she don't want to do an Asian accent. That's what people were talking about. And that's what I'm thinking. I'm just coming off with, like, at least her right now she's making a comment, and it seems like a comment that a young person would make, right? I feel like saying such a thing is very unwise, to say the least. So anyways, so we talked about that. We talked about some other things about race and about colorism and growing up as a minority. We talked about those things. And so it was great. It's great being on our podcast. and talking about those things.
Yeah, because I walked in on that and I was like, oh, I got to be extra quiet now.
Right.
Trying to slowly close the door.
I think you did good. You did good.
I feel like I was in Desperado. I'm trying to reload a gun as quietly as I can for no reason.
Right. So she has a pop culture podcast. Like the podcast that we did together is like very unusual because she don't normally have guests, so it's unusual for her. It was a different format than what she usually has, but she basically has a talk. She talks about pop culture, about actors, actresses. She talk about singers, movies, music, all those things on her podcast. So it's a fun show to listen to. I encourage my listeners to go and give a listen to It Goes Down in the PM. So also remember I told you
you got to go back to like 7 hours in The Last of Us 2 because you was like, oh, maybe I should have went out the window, instead of just keep playing the game.
Right. And it has a couple of those moments in there. And I ran into another. I forgot about the first moment.
See, I just stopped trying to look for stuff because I was like, I don't have time to be.
I can't do it.
I can because I'm just like
I'm a looky loo. I'm a searchy.
I have to stop.
I gotta look for stuff.
Like no
I'm trying to collect it. I'm trying.
You know what? You want to go looky loo? Then how about this? There's a setting on there where you can have the coloring shows what is interactive, what's not interactive. You do that so that way you can be all looky lucky.
No, that's all right. I'm gonna do it in the regular game. And here's the thing. What you call it? So I just got. So there's one part where if you go through this door, then it cuts you off from the rest of the play, right? So some doors you can go through and you can go back and forth and find everything in the building, but there's one door in a certain part of the story where it goes through, and that's basically the end of that chapter. Like you can't go back. So that first door is when you find one of the bodies that Tom kills. I think his name is Tommy. So and it's like he's bloody and laying on the floor or whatnot, and you find out that Tommy tortured and killed these people, and once you go through that door, you can't go back.
I mean, I would have done the same.
So and the thing is, I wanted to look through all that part, so I forgot about the door, but I was able to collect some of the other items before I walked through the door. So I found like a baseball card before I walked through. I could have found a survivor's manual, which would something that you can upgrade your character with, or I could have found some pills or whatever. But
you do know that's what the Gaming Plus store is made for, right? So you can go back.
Yeah, well, I don't want to do that. I don't want to play Gaming Plus. I just wanted to. Because I don't want to play the entire game again, just that little section. So I passed that part, but I didn't get to the part 2 where I went onto the subway and messed up. So that was the part where I messed up, is when I went over the rails to the subway, and then I couldn't go back over, back to where I came from, and I had nothing. I had no bombs, no Molotov cocktails.
You'd have been fine.
I had nothing. I was fine. I did get past that part.
All right, see,
but I was mad because I didn't get to those rooms. I wanted to explore those rooms. I told you I'm looky-loo. I'm nosy. I got to see what's in those rooms.
Would have been fine without
curiosity.
Yeah, you might end up finding nothing. You'd have been disappointed because you just went back 7 hours for no reason to find absolutely nothing.
I found a playing card. Oh, I also found, and this wasn't even part of it, I also found an extra manual that I somehow missed. So I found a manual that allowed me to, what did it do? It built a trap. So now I can build traps. And I totally missed the manual the first time I went through. I was like, second time through, I found the manual. So
you'd have been fine without that trap manual.
And now I'm going through, and I guess I'm halfway through to where I was when I cut myself off. So I just gotta be aware of those things, save more often, whatever's. So halfway through that, and I also want to give a congratulations to the VHS Files podcast. They recently celebrated their 400th episode, and they covered The Running Man, which is one of those movies that's going to have to go on the list.
No, not going on the list.
You're going to love The Running Man.
No movie should be going on the list.
It combines, it has elements of professional wrestling. It even has a professional wrestler. I think it has a couple of professional wrestlers in that movie.
Sure.
And it's a game show / professional wrestler. They have an actual game show host as one of the actors. One of the actors is playing a game show host, and he's actually a game show host. That's
or
what
we
I'm trying
cannot
to say.
watch the movie. That's another one.
You'll love it. It's awesome, and it's a Schwarzenegger movie. So, you know what? It's time to discuss what we did this evening. What movie did we watch?
Speed.
Speed. Don't slow down. You slow down, you go boom. Tell us about Speed.
A young police officer must prevent a bomb exploding aboard a city bus by keeping its speed above 50 miles per hour. That was written by Chris White via IMDb.
Yes, I like that one. I almost had to write one myself. I was like, I don't know how I'm gonna write this because I couldn't figure out how to put it as crisp and clear and short as that. Because there were other people, they wrote like huge paragraphs. I was like, this synopsis does not need a huge paragraph. I just need a simple sentence that I could put in this podcast. Thank you, Chris, for helping me out. So this movie was released on June 10th in 1994 by Mark Goodwin Company the Mark Goodwin Company and I'm reading it all wrong. The Mark Gordon Company and 20th Century Fox. It grossed over $121,248,145 in the U.S. and Canada, and over 350 million worldwide on an approximately $30 million budget, and it has rave reviews. This was a hit. It was a super hit.
Yep.
Yeah, more than double its budget in the U.S. and 300 million worldwide. This is back in 1994. It made loads of money. It was like, okay, we got to do a sequel. Keanu, you on for the sequel? He was like, nope. And so he was like, let's get this other guy. Let's set it on a cruise ship. And that movie bombed because that's a horrible idea. It's a movie called Speed. Why would you put it on a boat? Right.
That makes no sense.
Right. No sense at all. No sense at all. But that's what they did, and they shouldn't have. But anyway.
So Keanu Reeves just dodged a bullet. He was like, I'm going to go with my gut. I'm going to say no.
I mean, at this point, he had some influence over the story. So if they said this is a dumb idea, I would do it. If the script was different, they probably would have changed the script. And that's basically what happened with this movie that we'll read in the trivia. Is like the I don't know if I put it in the trivia, but the script at first was kind of janky. So they brought in another guy to rewrite some of the script and made the studios happy, and they made this movie, and it turned out awesome. And that happens a lot. But see, the second Speed 2 Cruise Control was just too bad. It was just too bad. It could not be saved. So this movie stars Keanu Reeves as Jack Traven. We know him from the Bill and Ted trilogy, the Matrix tetralogy. We can call it a tetralogy now because they have a Matrix 4. So tetra for 4.
Really? That's
what it's called. It would be called, with 4 movies, it's called a tetralogy. And
I feel like that doesn't sound
we know him from John we know him from the John Wick pentology. It's a pentology because they're making 2 more John Wick movies. John Wick 4 is filming.
See, I'm okay with it being penta because that means 5.
Right.
But I'm sorry, the 4th one, no, I'm not.
Tetra means 4. I'm not absorb.
Okay.
It all comes from Greek. All right, it's all the same language. Trilogy, tetralogy, and pentology. It's all Greek influence.
It would be better if it was quadrology, something like that. Because then I'd be like, that's perfectly fine. Because that's 4.
Right. Well, that's a different language. So, anyways,
I don't care.
They are trying to keep it Greek. But anyways, so it's a pentology. I thought it was going to be quadrology or something like that too. But when I looked it up, they said it was a tetralogy, and I was like, okay,
nonsense.
fine.
I'm not fine with that. No.
So, John Wick Chapter 4 is currently filming, and John Wick Chapter 5 is in pre-production.
Yeah, he's making a lot of money with 3 movies on his belt.
Oh man, he's good. He's golden.
Also, we have Sandra Bullock as Annie. She was in Gravity, Bird Box, and The Blind Side.
You seen The Bird Box yet?
No.
Man, you gotta check that out. It's
blah, blah, blah.
That's one of Netflix's best films.
Netflix greatest Blue.
It also has Dennis Hopper. He's known for Easy Rider, Blue Velvet, and Waterworld.
You're not even going to put in who he was playing as,
Oh, shoot. I sure didn't.
You didn't.
I totally skipped it. Darn it. Look it up real quick.
Goodness gracious. All right, fine.
He played. I don't know how I missed that. Well, while he's looking that up, we're gonna go to Joe Morton. He played Captain McMahon. He was,
He
him.
was Howard Payne.
Okay, yeah. Dennis Hopper was Howard Payne.
Now we have
Joe
Joe
Morton.
Morton.
Go
He
ahead.
was Captain McMahon.
McMahon.
He was in Terminator 2, Judgment Day, Eureka, and Paycheck.
That's Eureka.
Oh, Eureka.
You know, like when somebody discovers something, they say
Eureka? That's how it's spelled? Okay. Wow.
That's how you spell it. In Terminator 2, oh, you've seen that one, right?
I believe I have. I don't remember everything.
Oh, okay. So he played the scientist who was head of Cyberdyne research. He when Cyberdyne found the original Terminator's metal arm, he was the dude that was working on it and eventually created Skynet, and which, you know, led to the end of the world. So the next actor was Jeff Daniels. He played Harry. He's best known for The Squid and the Whale, Dumb and Dumber, and The Newsroom. And so he was great in all of those. He's been in plenty of movies.
We have Alan Ruck as Stephens.
And Richard Lineback as Norwood.
Beth Grant as Helen.
Hawthorne James as Sam.
And Carlos Carrasco as Ortiz.
Ortiz. You remember Ortiz, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. What was the nickname they gave Ortiz?
Shit. I forgot.
Think anime.
You didn't think anime. That's not gonna help me.
They called him that. What you call it? So Jack, Keanu Reeves' character, he calls Ortiz Gigantor.
Oh yeah, Gigantor.
So yeah, that's played by Carlos Carrasco. And this movie
was directed by Jan DeBont.
I think it's DeBont.
DeBont. Here he directed Twister, The Haunting, and Lara Croft Tomb Raider, The Cradle of Life.
So he's only credited with 5 movies. The one movie I didn't really recognize. None of his movies were all that good, except for Twister and Speed. That's about it. Oh, the other movie he directed was Speed 2, Cruise Control, and that one. After that one, it was like, you know what? It's time for you to go back to cinematography. You don't have to direct movies no more, because he's well known for cinematographer. He's a great cinematographer when it comes to other movies, but as far as directing, he's struggling. So he's only had really 2 good movies. I don't know about The Haunting. It looks and sounds like a horror movie, so I don't know much about that. Lara Croft. That was just, both of those movies were disappointing.
I do love how the filmmakers, I don't know if the filmmakers or I think it was the producers, blamed the game that came out doing it. It was like, it's the game's fault that the movie. No, you can't blame the game.
They're like, we can't. It's because we can't make good movies out of video games. It's because you don't take it serious. If you take it serious, you can make a good movie out of video games, and that's why there's so few examples. And something went through.
Because it was like, I forgot what Lara Croft
superhero movies went through a thing like this where you couldn't get a good superhero movie because people wouldn't take it seriously, and you get basically, I don't want to say it was a bunch of garbage, but it was either campy or it was just bad. It was just bad storytelling, and it took a long time for them to actually get it right. Because it's like you had Superman and Superman 2, those came out great, and then right after Superman 2, just a load of garbage, and it didn't really get right until Batman 1989, the Tim Burton one, and then that's when it started to get back on track. But it was still, it was still kind of up and down, and then you got the first X-Men movie. No, you got the first Blade movie, and you got the first X-Men movie, and then it started to pick up. And I think it was really after the X-Men, after Spider-Man, they got it. And when Sam Raimi did Spider-Man with Tobey Maguire, it was golden. I think that's why we're living in the golden age of superhero movies now, because X-Men was fine, but X-Men is like, it hewed too close to like dark and gritty. It looked a lot like it. You could see there was influence by Batman, by the Tim Burton Batman. But when Spider-Man came out, it's like, you know what? I'm wearing real colors. I'm wearing red. I'm wearing blue. I'm wearing tights. I'm going to be swinging through the city on the web. I'm Spider-Man.
Organic web, don't forget.
Yeah, I know.
Organic web.
Yeah, that was probably. They even changed it in the comics for a little while. But then somebody was like, you know what? We don't have to do organic webs anymore. So this movie was written by Graham Yost, and it turns out differently on my tablet. He wrote Broken Arrow, Hard Rain, and Justified, the TV series. So he's written some good stuff. He has a lot of credits. He writes most of the TV, and he's written some good things.
Music by Mark Monica.
Yeah, I think that's Mancina.
Oh, Mancina. Did Twister, Tarzan, and Con Air.
Yep, it's all right. I mean, it did the job, make you feel good while you're watching the movie. But it sounds a lot like some other action movies. It kind of sounds like Con Air, which kind of sounds like Commando. They all kind of sound the same, right? So he doesn't really stray. He has a formula. He has a style, and he sticks to that style. Can't say that. I can't. I know the word that I want to say. Can't get it out of my mouth. He has a style. He kind of sticks to that style. It all kind of sounds the same, but it sounds all right. So it's kind of like Nickelback, right? When people say people don't like Nickelback because they say they copy their songs and all their songs sound the same. But I still enjoy Nickelback. Doesn't matter to me. Sounds good. So this guy kind of the same way. So anyways,
we're gonna say formucho, something like that.
No, that's not the word. Oh, wow. I know the word. I can't get it out of my mouth. Okay, it's an English word. Formulaic. That's what I was trying to say. Formulaic. His music is formulaic. He's following a formula. Thank you for helping me out. Just staring at your face. I got it. So anyway, the movie's executive producer was Ian Bryce.
Anything else on that?
Nope.
All right, and that's it for the rundown. And if you're enjoying the show, remember that you can get t-shirts, hoodies, mugs, face masks, jerseys, and much more items at our website, backlookcinema.com, where you can click the link to either teesprings.com or tpublic.com. Now we're going to take a short break, and we'll be right back to talk about our favorite parts of the movie, some movie trivia, and find out what some of the critics thought.
Hello, everyone. This is Robert with the Watching It podcast. We're a show that covers TV and movies. Join me and my co-host Donnell each week to talk about shows like Loki, The Lower Decks, Snowpiercer, Palm Springs, and Collateral. You can find us at watchingitpod.com or anywhere you get your podcasts.
Hello, my name is Rich Hardson, Executive Director of Omni Consumer Products Logistics Division. I'm pleased to announce that OCP is coming to Detroit. Together with the Mayor and City Council, we'll be making a new Detroit. We will be working with the city and her citizens with our advanced technology and forward-thinking crime-fighting techniques to reduce crime, poverty, and in the process, create thousands of new jobs for the people of the city. We project exponential growth in Detroit, and we can do it for your city as well. If you want to reduce crime, poverty, and create employment opportunities for your area, then contact your city council, mayor, county executive, or your sheriff's office today. Let them know that you want OCP to do for your city what OCP is doing for Detroit. Thank you. OCP.
And we're back. So Zach, I gotta ask you, how you like this? How you like this fresh cut?
This
fresh cut.
Yeah, it's nice. Yeah,
you like that?
Uh-huh.
Your grandma asked me if when I was gonna take you to the barbershop, and I had to tell her Zachary will go to the barbershop when Zachary wants to go. But guess where I got this fine, fresh haircut?
I'm guessing from Cousin Andre.
Yes, that's right. He works at Classic Cuts at 7934 Old Branch Avenue in Clinton, Maryland. So if you want a fresh cut, like you can't see because I'm on the podcast, but Zachary can see it. So Zachary can tell it's a fresh cut. If you want a fresh cut and you live in the Washington, D.C. area, go over to Classic Cuts at 7934 Old Branch Avenue in Clinton, Maryland, and ask for Andre Berry. Andre Berry is my cousin. Andre Berry is the man that gave me this fresh cut. You can follow him on Instagram at SB the Barber. Follow him on Instagram. Go down to Classic Cuts, get a fresh haircut like I got, and go out to the clubs or whatever with your mask on. Is just go out looking fresh. Go to work looking fresh with your mask on. Go on the bus looking fresh with your mask on. Just go and get your fresh cuts at Classic Cuts by Andre Berry. Anyway, so we are going to continue our discussion. Oops, what? No, no, that's the bad place. Don't want to put the phone in the bad place. Put the phone in the bad place. We end up with a messed up recording. So where were we?
Talking about our favorite parts.
We're going to talk about our favorite parts.
Yeah, that's what we're going to get into, yeah.
Zachary, what were your favorite parts of the movie?
Let's see. When, can't remember his name. Trying to remember his name.
Are you talking about Jack?
When Jack and his partner,
his partner's Harry.
Yeah, when him and Harry are talking, because they're in the elevator shaft trying to figure out how they're going to get the people that are trapped in the elevator out without causing a bomb to explode. Harry asks him okay, so what do you do when the guy has a hostage? And then Jack's like, oh, shoot the hostage.
Right.
I'm like, what? I'm sorry.
Without even really thinking about
he
it.
Doesn't think he's like, oh yeah, shoot the hostage. What?
Yeah, you eliminate the hostage from the equation.
I'm like, okay. I don't know how that works, but okay.
Right.
On one hand, I feel like they're not gonna care if the hostage gets shot, but then again, they might because they're gonna be like, "Oh my god, this man's crazy. I have no way of escaping with a hostage. He might as well kill the hostage and me." So yeah, maybe I guess.
Yeah, it's something that I don't think police are ever trained to do, and you can see that Harry's expressions. What?
Yeah. And then along with that scene was when they decided to get a cable from on top of the building, feed it through a part of the vent of the building to hook it onto the elevator. Excuse me. And then basically the plan was, I guess, for them to wait it out until the bomb does explode, because Jack's like, he's not going to care. He's going to explode it anyway. Even when he gets the money, he's going to make it explode. Right. So, they hook it on. But because he can hear what's going on, because he hooked up some audio system to the elevator, he triggers a bomb. And that's when the elevator starts to drop. But because of the cable, it stops them, but only slowly. And it keeps dropping down because the weight of the elevator is too heavy for the wire.
Right. It's basically some kind of a crane. Some kind of crane contraption that's on the top of the building. So this is after the mysterious terrorist already blows up the wires of the elevator, and then the emergency brakes stop the elevator, but he's already armed he wrapped explosives around the brakes, so at any time he could blow up the brakes and then drop the elevator to the ground level, where he plans on killing, like, I guess it was like 8 people that were on the elevator. So why is he doing this?
For money. That's what
right.
All he wants is money.
He wants some money. He wants $3 million. So and that goes along with the other part
where they find out where he's at. He's in this shaft, I guess. They go to it and they're both on top of it. Jack is armed, Harry isn't, and the guy notices they're on top, so he starts shooting the top with his shotgun. And to the point where a part of the top falls off. Excuse me again. And Harry falls through. Harry gets injured a little bit. And the guy's still pointing up at Jack, and he's like, I got an idea. So he has himself to go all the way up to the top floor, knowing that Jack has two options: A, get crushed, or B, jump down. And that's what Jack did. He jumps down, and he thinks he has the good shot. Pulls the trigger. He basically used up all his ammo shooting at the top.
Right.
And I was like, wow, okay. And then Jack's like, well, you got yourself cornered because now my chief and the rest of the guys know you're at the top. And he's like, oh, you think so? He has a contraption that will fool the elevator system, saying, oh, yeah, this elevator went down to the 3rd floor, not the top floor.
Right. I don't think he got off at the top floor, but he got off at a higher floor.
Yeah, higher. I think the 41st floor.
He got off at a higher floor, but everybody, the police and SWAT team think that the elevator's on the third floor.
So he then takes Harry as a hostage, and he's like, yeah, I got bombs around me. If you come close, I'll let go and I'll take him and me along, maybe with you with the explosion.
Well, actually, it looks like the amount of explosives that he had. So he's wearing an explosive vest.
Yeah.
So the amount of explosives he has on that vest, it looks like it'll take a good chunk of the building.
Yep.
So not just himself and Harry and Jack, but most of that floor, right? So and he has. They didn't name it in the movie, but he has what they call a dead man's trigger. So the trigger is designed so that he has to squeeze the trigger to keep the bomb from exploding.
And when he lets go, it explodes.
Right. So if you shoot him, that means he lets go when it explodes. So that puts Jack in a kind of no-win situation. Right. So he can't shoot. He's not supposed to shoot Harry.
But he does it anyway.
Right.
He shoots him in the leg.
Right.
Harry falls, and the guy's like, this man's crazy.
Right. But he still gets away because he still has a bomb strapped to his chest.
But he runs away and lets go of the trigger that's supposed to be able to blow up, the top of the building. But apparently it didn't. It only just blew up what was inside that room he went in.
Right. So.
Which is weird.
Right. So that wasn't him, obviously, because the next day.
Yeah, he's alive.
Right. The next day, he's alive. He's calling. He's blowing up. He blew up one bus, and then he calls Jack because he tells Jack there's another bus that he's about to blow up. But it's funny.
I just find it weird how he knew where Jack was at, what bus was gonna be there.
Yeah, that's all straight. Because it's like it would have made sense if it was like a week later or maybe a month later, because he could have studied Jack. He could have studied Jack's routine and known that
this is a day later.
It seems like a day later because
it is, because Jack is like, yeah, I was at a party.
Not only that, but at the same party, Harry was, it was a celebratory party because they had. Wait a minute, hold on, let me think about this. You know what? It could have been a month later, because what happened was they did the rescue and everything, and then later on you see the award ceremony, right? Yeah. They're all in their dress uniforms. They go on TV and they get awarded. But see, here's the thing: they could not have. They would not have done that the very next day. They would have done that like weeks or maybe even months after the incident, right? Because these things aren't instantaneous.
Yeah, true.
So we don't know how much time happened between when they rescued the hostages from the elevator to the time they had the award ceremony. So it could have been that he had been studying Jack all that time. He already knew who he was because he saw him, so he could have looked him up. Like in a police department, he's not undercover, right? He's just a member of the police force.
I mean, I don't think he currently was. I think that was done for his deal, because remember, he wasn't on the police force.
Right. Now he's not on the police force, but he could have looked him up. He could have either. I don't know how public police personnel records are, but he could have found out about it. It's like it's not something they explain in the movie, but we can assume that he had ways of finding out about Jack and Harry and some of the other people on that unit. So let's assume that he found out, and it's already months later, so he had enough time to set up his bombs and whatnot. So he chose a day when he knew Jack would be at the coffee shop. This would be all better if I didn't have to make up this story as we're going along, right? So he studied Jack and his routine, so that's how he knew Jack was going to be at the coffee shop. And that's how he knew which bus to blow up, because I guess he noticed that every day that Jack goes at the same time to the coffee shop. At the same time, that same bus goes by. So that's the bus that he blows up. And then that's when it's a trope in early days in the 70s, 80s, and 90s when the phone rings and it just keeps ringing and ringing, the public phone, and then somebody just goes over and answer it, and he has to deal with the terrorists. It's something that happens.
You know what's also weird?
in the movies
they're
all the time.
basically trying to say at some point that bus hit 50.
No, he didn't set that up for 50 miles per hour.
Oh, okay.
He just blew that up manually.
Okay, I'm about to say.
Yeah. The only thing he did that was for the bus that he wanted Jack to get on. So that's why he gave Jack all that information so he could go on the bus and he make it to the bus, get on the bus.
Well, actually, I don't think he planned for Jack to get on the bus. I think that was one of the things. Because he was surprised that Jack got on the bus. He was like, "Oh, you're on the bus? Wow, okay."
Yeah, he was a little surprised. I don't know what I guess.
I'm saying, what do you expect? You expect him to get you the money without the bus not being going at 50?
Right. I don't know exactly what his plan was, but that his plan was that if the bus went below 50 miles per hour, it would automatically blow up. So I don't know how that was supposed to, because it's like if it's just an ordinary person, then that bus would have just blown up, right?
Another thing, Jack could have been like, "Hold up, let me call my crew with my phone, be like, hey, I want you to cause traffic to make sure that bus cannot even go past 50.
Right.
Because he could have done that.
Right. He could have. So anyways, what were some of your other favorite parts?
When Jack had to steal a car to catch up to the bus. That was a good part.
Yeah.
So the random dude's car, the guy's like, "Hey, this is my car."
Well, first, to be honest, to be fair, he was using his own car first.
He was. Then he had to ditch it because he had to run up to the bus.
And he tried to run up to the bus because the traffic had slowed down. Tried to run up to the bus, but the driver think he's just crazy, man, and drove on past and wouldn't stop for him. And then that's when he got into a car. He was trying to stop a bunch of cars. He finally stopped the dude with the Jaguar, and he was like, what the dude? The dude was like, "Nah, man, you stealing it." He's like, "Yeah, I am stealing it."
He's like, he said, "I didn't steal this car," and he's like, "Well, no, I'm stealing it." I'm like,
right.
You technically are. That's true.
So, or it was something like, he tried to tell him he was a police officer. Like, "No, man, you might be stealing the car." It's like, "Yeah, I am stealing." But anyways, he has a gun, so he gets in the car and he starts chasing the bus.
Chase the bus. Now he does manage to get the bus driver to understand what he was trying to do from the get go, and then he has a guy. "You got insurance, right?" "Yeah." Broke the driver's door open, and he was like, "All right, take the wheel," so he can get onto the bus, which caused the other guy that was the owner of that car to crash into, I don't know what those
Those
things
are
were.
barriers.
Okay,
so those
barriers.
are barriers filled with water. So those are barriers that they put near the exits and entrances on some freeways. So yeah, so when Jack was able to get onto the bus, the driver of the Jaguar, he basically lost control because he's already going too fast, kind of lost control of the car and crashed into the barriers.
I mean, hey, at least you can get another car.
Right.
Welcome to your car, man. Oh, police guy took over it.
Right.
Broke the door and then had me crash, It's all on the news.
Or there was another part where it's like he's trying to communicate with the bus driver when he's still driving the car. And he can't really get across what's wrong with the bus.
Yeah.
So he drives in front of the bus and he has the Jaguar owner, write a note. And then the dude holds up the note, but the wind whips it away and it lands on a bus where you can clearly read "bomb on bus." I also thought it was neat that the back advertisement on the bus said it was from a bank, and the advertisement said, "Money isn't everything." Yeah, right. So that was what was written in the advertisement on the back of the bus, and I thought that was funny because this whole thing was about somebody trying to get some money.
Let's see. I'm trying to think of another good part. I want to say, no, that's not a good one because that, I'm just going to go when they was on the bridge and they thought they were safe. And it's like, yeah, this bridge is complete. And they're like, "Hey, I got bad news. This is a complete bridge." I'm like, "What do you mean?" And it was like, "It's on the map." It's like, well, apparently they was late on it.
Right.
Everyone's fine. I'm like, it's not. First of all,
yeah, he
don't
said
blame.
You
can't blame everyone.
That was a complete caption. You're fired. Everyone's fired.
I'm like, you can't blame everyone because here's the thing. That's the map issue. That's not the builder's fault. That map came out way too late when it shouldn't have.
Right, or too early. But anyways, So this is when they're on the free. What happened is that they're on a section of the freeway that's incomplete. So it was under construction. It was incomplete. There's no traffic on there, so they don't have to deal with traffic on the freeway because they were driving on the freeway. There was traffic. It would get backed up. They can't go below 50 miles per hour. Now they got to they got to take an exit ramp at 50 miles per hour, which, by the way, is not likely possible. Like that. It seemed to me that bus would have tipped over, or the first car it crashed into. Whenever they make movies that involve like tractor trailers or buses or anything, they make them look like they're invincible, but they're not. As soon as they crash, the smallest thing that you're gonna have issues and problems, and the bus is either gonna flip over or it's gonna stop because it's gonna puncture its tires or what. But none of that happened, right? None of that happened. It's just crashing into the cars just willy nilly, and it's fine, right? So it's on regular roads with stop signs and whatnot, crashing anything. There's a part when Annie hits a baby stroller and she
thinks she hits a baby.
She thinks she killed the baby.
And then Jack's like, no, it's just cans.
Right. They put
are you serious?
It was a lady that had put a bunch of cans in a baby stroller, and when they hit the baby stroller, all the cans fell out. So Jack was able to see it at the back of the bus. It's like, it's just cans. You're fine. Because she had lost it.
Anyone were like, oh, God, I hit a baby.
Right. So she's on the regular streets, and then they was finally able to take an exit off in order to get to the 105 that was under construction.
They had to make a turn, but they missed the turn on that first one.
Right, they missed the first turn.
Then they had to make a second turn.
Right.
And it was like, it's going to be a hard right.
Right, it was a hard right. They have to take a hard right at 50 miles per hour. And at that point, I'm thinking, in real life, the bus is flipping over and it explodes because there's no way. But they made it look good in the movie, though. They made it look good.
So everyone on the right-hand side.
Right. So, hold on. If it's a right turn, everybody has to be on the left-hand side.
Left-hand side.
So everybody got on the left-hand side of the bus. They make this hard to add weight to that side because that's the side that's going to come off the ground. And they make the turn at 50 miles per hour, and it is on two wheels now. The bus is on two wheels, but there's enough of the passengers' weight to keep the bus from flipping over, and they make it. And they make it on the freeway, and now they're kind of home free, at least for a little while.
And they're like, okay, you know what? We're going to jump it. We're going to jump the bridge, speed up.
Right. At first, they're going to at least try to get the passengers off, but they get one man out because Jack, he had gotten a cell phone from the Jaguar guy. You see how rare cell phones were back in the day, how rare it was. Only how the up-and-comers and the fancy people had cell phones.
Yeah, he got it. He makes a call. He gets a call from the guy who made the first issue with the elevators, and he's telling Jack that, no one can get off because he already told him that no one's allowed to get off. And Jack's like, okay, come on, it's the bus driver. He's injured. At least let him off. He's like, you know what? Fine. Here's a leeway. He's the only one that can get off.
Right.
So he's able to get him off. And then there's this one lady who's in a panic mode who's like, I want to get off now. And she makes the attempt to get off. And Harry sees it. Not Harry. The bomber sees it, and he blows up the fake bomb, or like
he blows up a smaller bomb
that blows a hole in the entrance of the driver door.
The first passenger. The front passenger entrance
for when you enter on the bus, and then Caesar's completely destroyed because blown up from the bottom, got run over by the bus.
Right.
And everyone's devastated. It's like she should have just, panic mode. Yeah, you want to get off. Everyone wants to get off, but Jack already told you that no one can get off, and he was the only acceptant because he was injured.
Right, and that was the warning, right? That smaller bomb was a warning. So they So they was able to get him off. That was a spectacular stunt. I don't know how that would work in real life. By this point, they're at the. But this is actually past the jump.
Yeah.
So
no, this is before the jump.
Is that no? Because
before the jump, they got him off the bus.
No, they
before the jump, they got the bus driver off the bus.
No, this is after because they was at the airport at the time. Remember, they had that big truck.
No,
they had the big.
Want to know why I say that?
Why you say that?
Because remember, the bus was blown. The first bomb went off before the jump, and they had to hurry to make that jump.
No, that was after.
I'm telling you, it's before, because that bus driver was not on the bus when they made that jump.
No, he was on. He was the only one that couldn't get over to the other side. He was still lying there. He was the only one that couldn't make it to the other side.
That's what I'm saying. The bus driver wasn't on the bus when they made the jump.
Yeah, he was.
No, he wasn't.
Because
you know why?
Why?
Because the hall was there before the jump.
No, because
the first bomb was blown up, and everyone was so devastated.
No, this is because after they make the jump, they was able to make it to the airport, and then after the airport, man, there was no other cars on the road. It was just that big police truck where they was getting the passengers off.
This was on the highway.
No, this is on the
this was on the empty highway. I'm telling you.
No, this is at the airport.
No,
right, let's skip.
Listen, no, at the airport. The second time they got the people off is because they made a pre-recording tape. Now, the injured bus driver was not there. I'm telling you.
Okay, I'll let you have it. Anyways.
You can go back watch the movie, and then when you see it, I'm like, oh, look at that. I told you so. Don't try to argue with my memory.
Anyway. Okay, maybe it was an empty highway. We'll say it was. We'll say it was.
You better go rewatch the movie.
We'll say you was right. So anyways, after they get, you know what I'm thinking about? I'm thinking about when they made the turn.
Yeah, exactly. You're thinking about that.
I'm thinking about. Okay, so let's say they got the guy off, the bus driver off. We ain't talking about that. The reason that he got
injured because one guy had a gun.
One guy panicked.
He's thinking he's getting arrested. And he's like, Jack's like, I'm not coming for you. I don't care what you did.
Right.
Put your gun away.
Right. He's like, I don't care about your crimes. We're all cool. Okay, we're cool. We're sure what you did. You're sorry, right? He's just trying to get the guy to put his gun down.
Ortiz comes up and then tries to grab the gun. I'm like, Ortiz, stop. Oh God.
Well,
I understand you're trying to help, but Ortiz, sit down.
But anyway, yeah. So the gun goes off, it hits the driver, and that's why they have to get him off the bus. So, anyways, so they're going down the empty freeway, and at first they were like, it was like they really wanted to get the passengers off. They can't get them off, so they back off, and that's what Jack was like. We're gonna jump it, right?
Yeah, they get it. I think it was 70.
Right.
They get up to 70. He was like, "Okay, we're gonna put the bags under the chairs. Keep your heads down. Hold on." They make the jump. I was like, "Yeah, awesome. You made the jump." Then it was like Jack was like, "Okay, you know what? I know where we're at. We're getting off of this. Going to the airport." And then in Jack's head, he's like, okay, there's no way he can see us now because their chopper isn't there, so we can safely get the passengers off. But then the issue comes with, no, he still knows.
Right. Something tells him, he doesn't know why, but something tells him that the terrorist still knows about them, that they're still being watched, and he doesn't know why, what the feeling is.
And it's like, yeah, what can we do? So Jack's like, okay, I think he gets the call from the bomber. And then he's like, oh, yeah. Because Jack's like, awesome, Harry, you did it. Thank you, man. I'm so happy. He's like, oh, yeah. No, he fell for the trap. I put that gold watch as a decoy because, what am I doing?
We didn't talk about Harry. So the Harry's face.
Yeah,
so Harry was able to figure out who the guy was.
Who the guy was, where he was living at. It was like, okay, let's get the SWAT team together.
So they realized, because it's like first they looking at criminals. I was like, okay, it's not a criminal. It's like, okay, let's look at police files. It's like, okay, we don't. It's like you don't recognize. And then it's like, well, let's look at retirement files. And then they finally found a retired policeman from Atlanta. What'd you say his name was?
I'm not sure. Shoot.
Well, flip back to the page. Where'd you get the information from?
What do you mean flip back to
the guy that Dennis Hopper's character was playing? Then you go to IMDb to get it?
Oh, yeah. Wait, no. Dennis Hopper was playing as Harry.
Right. No.
Oh, no, Howard. Dennis Hopper was Howard, yeah.
Yeah, Dennis Hopper is the terrorist.
Yeah, Howard.
Right. So,
and, they was like, okay, we know where Howard lives. We know where he's at. Let's go to his house. They go to his house. They go inside, and then Harry noticed that there's a bomb or a trigger, and he's like, damn.
You're right. He got that look in his face. It's like, okay, I'm dead now.
He's like, my luck ran out.
I seen there was a YouTube video where they said that the top 10 moments where characters realized they was about to die, and they used his face, that image that you saw when he was looking at the bomb. They used that image as a thumbnail. Right. I didn't watch the video, but I just remember they used that as the thumbnail. I was like, yep, he knew he was gonna die. So so what else happens?
Harry gets blown up. They get to the airport. He then, he's like, okay, let me off the bus. So then, because, maybe I can get you your money. Just let me off the bus. So he goes ahead, was able to get off the bus. And the plan was for him to defuse the bomb.
Right. At first, he was talking to him about how, different strategies or how they can give him the money.
And this is like before Harry dies. That's one thing.
Right.
And it's like, yeah, he goes down. He's like, okay, what type of wire do you see? I think he said copper. No, it was some type of wire.
What happened was they had made this. Excuse me, goodness, I got hiccups and everything. So Jack is still off the bus.
Yeah, he's off the bus.
He's able to get his police gear, his vest and his communication gear with the police and whatnot. Now he looks like a proper SWAT officer. And then they get this rig up where he's on like a like one of those rolling carts that mechanics use.
Yeah,
that they lay flat.
The only issue I have with that, I'm sure that bus is too low for you to go.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too. But it's the movies.
It's the movies. But it's high enough for him to go under, do what he needs to do,
right,
and then somehow get out.
So he's supposed to be rolling under the bus with the bus going 50 miles per hour, being pulled by another vehicle
going
matching the bus's speed. Yep. Right. So he's under there trying to, and he's not the bomb expert. Harry is a bomb expert.
Harry's
so
a bomb. Harry's telling him
is trying to go through the motion. Right. But what they both realize is that that it's so many which not booby traps. It's so many what you call this in a bomb. Decoys. There's so many decoy wires in the bomb that they're not going to be able to defuse it. And plus, when the bus went into the airport, it went in the exit, and they have like tire puncture.
Oh yeah, the tire got
things
punctured.
Right, the tire got punctured.
That's gonna play
on
a
the way
part.
to the airport. Right. It's like that's gonna matter later. So the tires is punctured. So while Jack is under the bus, the tires start failing more and more, like pieces of tire just flying off the bus, and now the bus is jerking around, and now it's threatening his life. And Annie driving the bus is all worried. She was like, and we didn't even talk about how Annie took over the bus. But
when the bus driver got shot, yes, he took over.
Right. So so now she's worried about Jack's like, check the back of the bus, check to see if he came out the back. Right.
Like also what happens, like he was trying to defuse it, but the issue was it was like a battery they had, and the plan was basically to defuse the bomb by having the power be directed to somewhere else.
Right.
But because it was like a double closed circuit, that wasn't going to work.
Right.
So it was like, darn, he had this covered.
Right. He had everything covered. So now, and now that skateboard that he's on is falling apart.
Yeah, that's falling apart. The tires getting in the way.
So the passengers,
the wire that was pulling the cart broke.
Right. So and now he's basically hanging onto the bus.
He punched a hole in the gas tank. Yeah. Like, okay, that's definitely playing a part.
He started losing his grip, and so he had a screwdriver. So he punctured the hole in the gas tank in order to keep himself from being run over by the tire. So now he's basically just hanging on by the screwdriver, and fuel at the same time is spilling on him. So now he's losing his grip on the screwdriver. But at the same time, the passengers are opening up the panel on the bottom of the bus so they could rescue him. And Ortiz was able to pull him out.
Yeah. How coincidental that Ortiz had tools on him.
Well, you see him, he had a hard hat. He was
he had a hard hat, but
right.
I don't expect all of them to always have tools on them.
Construction, on their way to work and on their way home, construction workers carry their tools with them. Not sometimes there's a box where you can dump some of your tools at work, but you can't do it all the time. So you have to bring your tools to work every day and bring them home every day, at least the smaller tools. So he had the small, or it could have been his first day at work. Any one of those scenarios would work. So it was so, and on any given bus, there's going to be a construction worker. So he's able to unscrew the panels, pull the panel away, and awkwardly pull Jack out from danger from under the bus.
Yeah, I feel like that wouldn't have worked anyway, too.
Yeah.
In reality, no, that's not working. That man's gone.
Yeah, that didn't look right. If they pulled him the other way, then maybe, but pull him the way they was pulling him, man, that didn't look right. That looked like he was going to die. So
they got him. Jack gets a call. He's thinking it's from Harry. Finds out, no, it's not from Harry. It's from Howard. And he's like, darn, This both plans didn't work. This is not good at all. Also, we're losing gas. But this is when Jack finds out that the reason how he can see is because of what he said during the phone call, calling, I think, either him or her.
He said, it's you and the Wildcat.
Yeah, you and the Wildcat. He's like, how did he know about the female driving?
No, I don't even think he wasn't paying attention to it. He was just saying Wildcat.
Yeah, you and the Wildcat.
Because you could tell it's a female driver because it's helicopters. One of the helicopters going to eventually see it. But he said you and the Wildcat, and then he went and looked at her sweatshirt that she had taken off earlier, and it had Arizona.
Yeah, the call is Arizona.
And Arizona have a team called the Wildcats, and that's their mascot. And then that's when he realized that when the dude was referring to her as a Wildcat, they was talking about the school she went to. And
that's when he's like, you know what, I got a plan. This is a good plan. This cannot fail, which it doesn't. He's like, okay, boss, I need you to go to the vans that are recording. Have them stop recording, but have one of them tape get the signal from the bus, record it, and then use that to trick him. Right. So they do that. But the issue is they didn't have too long because the bus was running on gas. It was getting on empty. And they only had like a minute or so footage. And then he's like, okay, you know what? Just loop it.
Right.
Loop that 1 minute video and play it. So they do that. And Jack tells them to don't do anything. Just look at the camera normally. Just look forward.
He said, look defeated.
Yeah, come on, don't make any other sudden moves. Just look forward. And he's like, that's what they do. And so, successfully play the video. Successfully gets everyone off the bus, even though they had a little hiccup and it was like, oh no, the platform that we have fell off that was connected to this other bus.
Yeah, what happened was that remember the tires on the bus
the tires
was still
coming
shredded.
off, and then because it made a sharp turn,
right?
That's why it came off. Like, ooh, that's not good.
Right. So they got one dude on the basically the deuce bag, and he was on the platform, and he's basically about to lose his life because he's the last one. That the platform is dragging on the ground. While the
I'm
truck
like, just cross it, man. They're holding their hands out.
Right.
Cross. That's all you got to do.
Right. Or the truck that was carrying the passengers, they could have slowed down. They didn't have to keep driving at that point because they got everybody off. But
I mean, not everyone. They still had Jack and
right. Yeah, they got all the passengers off, but except for Annie. So now Jack. They got to get. So now Jack and Annie basically had to find their own way off the bus.
And here's another issue I have. I'm sorry, but if that little roller wasn't gonna be able to get you from out of harm's way when you was under the bus and you could have let go coming out the end, why do you think that little door you're on is gonna be how?
Well, the thing was that he had, and he was. For one thing, it was the only thing he had. He didn't have anything else.
I understand.
He used
but
a panel.
That shouldn't have worked.
Also, he had a panel. He had a rope, and he was using the rope that he had tied to something in the bus, and that's how he controlled his descent from the bus. Right, so he was able to. He had limited control over the direction and his descent, and he had the cord that kept the steering wheel straight. So it was a solid plan.
I guess
they was able to get off the bus, but
had it explode to a plane that had luckily no one on it.
Why are the planes moving? They know that there's exploding bomb driving around the airport.
That was I wanted to point out.
Bus. Why is
they went to the airport? Wouldn't the cops be like, "Hey, stop the planes!
Stop all
no
the
more
planes.
Comes in, no more
Keep all
going
the planes
off.
in the hangar.
No one gets off the runway."
Why is that plane moving? Stop the plane!
No plane gets towed either. Like, come on!
It's like, what is you doing? Stop! There's an exploding bomb driving around the airport to go off at any time. How about we not do anything with planes? But there they are. I didn't hear nobody tell us to stop working. Don't you know that there's a bus that's going to explode on the airport? Haven't you been watching the news?
Don't you see that there's a bus on the runway? Don't you think
that's the bus
weird?
right there? That bus going around the airport, that's the one that's going to explode. Don't you? It's on the news. They're talking about us, but nope, they're still working. And they got exploded. One dude jumped off of his truck before too late.
Bad,
right.
Yeah.
So anyway, massive explosion.
Everyone's saved.
Everybody's
Only
saved.
one person died. Few people got injured during the bus being on the road. Just a few.
Right. We don't know if they died as a result of the injuries, but they'll be fine.
Yeah,
right.
Fine.
So, what was it? And then, what was your favorites after that?
This is basically near the end of the movie. Jack has to save Anne because can't remember his name.
Just say the bad guy.
Yeah, the bad guy.
Dennis Hopper.
Yeah, Dennis Hopper. Basically, he used Anne to get the money that they put in a bin. And the plan was that he would go get the money, but get shot by doing so.
Right.
But because he went underground to get the money that way, used Anne as a hostage, and by putting a dead man's trigger, you said?
Yeah, dead man. So he put a vest
on her
and
instead of him, because he knew that was better. Because he could use her as a hostage and knew that Jack.
Well, he didn't have an opportunity to do it any other way before.
I mean,
but now he has the opportunity to put the vest on her, and plus he still has a dead man's trigger, right? So, what happened was that the police are all surrounding the area. The terrorist wants to put the money in a trash bin. And then when they put the money in the trash bin, he's going to go and get the money. So they're waiting for him to go to the trash can, and they were going to shoot him. But the problem was that Jack told him that the money had a tracker. So nobody saw anybody go to the trash can and try to retrieve the money. So Jack told him to turn on the tracker. And he said, but nobody's gone to the trash can. It's like, just turn on the tracker, and the tracker is moving. So the money is moving. So somehow the money is moving and nobody went to the trash can to pick it up. So Jack ran over to the trash can and he lifted the trash can off the ground, or he pushed it out of the way. And he saw that there was a hole in the sidewalk that the trash can was covering. So there was a hole under the trash can. So when somebody threw anything into the trash can, it would fall through the trash can and through the sidewalk down to the underground area where the terrorists can easily go and pick up the money. So here's the brilliant plan from the terrorists. So when Jack went underground to confront the terrorists, that's when
he saw Anne with the dead man, with
the
vest on.
Right, with the vest on, because she had been kidnapped earlier by the bad guy.
Now, the reason how she got kidnapped is because Dennis found out that the tape was fake. It was pre-recorded, because on the tape, he saw one in the passenger. At first, there's no bag, and then suddenly a bag. Then it disappeared, and I'm like, oh yeah.
Yeah, he saw the loop. He saw that it was on loop. It was tricked. So he knew what the police plan was. So he put on his police uniform, and then went and saw Anne standing there and kidnapped her without her knowing it, because she never seen him before.
Yeah, she never seen him, so she thinks that he's a part of the plan.
Right. And then next thing you see her, she wearing a bomb vest. Right.
He was like, oh yeah, that's not good.
Right.
So he goes. They basically get on the train at that point, and he has all the passengers get off the train, handcuff Anne to a pole, while telling her to hold the trigger. And when he does that, he shoots the driver, because he's like, I'm just going to be the one driving this so I can get away. But because he shot the driver, he also shot the control panel too.
Right.
But the issue with that is, I'll get to that later on that. He shoots the driver, shoots the panel, and then Anne is basically going white, being ghost, because, she saw someone died right in front of her again.
Right.
And she's about to let go of the trigger. He's like, no, don't do that. Give it here.
Yeah, right.
It's not because you're a woman. That's not the issue.
Right. So, and then he hears Jack get on top.
Yeah. Then he continues.
And then he does this weird thing. First, he tries to shoot Jack, and that doesn't work. And then he does this weird thing where he decides he's just going to go outside.
Yeah, go outside. I'm like,
Jack.
Why would you do that?
First, how did you do that? And then why would you do that? If
With
he
trigger
goes
in
inside,
hand.
you got the trigger. He's not going to do anything as long as you have the trigger. But that was kind of he's mad because his money blew up, and he's got.
No, it didn't. It basically is because it was.
It had the ink. Right,
and he was like, I didn't want it ink. I want it fresh. Right. I didn't want to be trapped.
So it had exploding ink. Now he's got exploding ink all. Now he's mad. So he's gonna go and he's gonna fight Jack because. Why? I don't know. So, because Jack is not going to fight him because he's got a bomb. So he goes and they start fighting on top of the train. Of course, he loses because he's old and kind of dumb at this point.
Yeah, the reason how he lost because there was a a sign, not a sign, but
They're
whatever, a light.
train lights.
Yeah,
See,
train lights.
they're hanging low. That's low enough to where it can almost hit somebody that might be on the top of a train.
Yeah, that's what happened. He gets decapitated.
Right.
I'm like, ooh, that's too clean of a decapitation.
Jack made sure to grab
The
bomb trigger, and then and holds the bad guy's head up, and then it hits one of these lights.
And then his casualty's talking about it's because I'm tall. I'm like, are you sure? I don't
Yeah,
think it's
yeah,
because they're tall,
that sounded kind of stupid.
Yeah.
I guess because he's got longer arms.
I guess I don't know. You know, then he goes down. He disabled his bomb. Then his
no, he doesn't.
He does.
No, he doesn't. What he tries to do. Oh yeah, he does disable the bomb. You're right.
What he tries to do is get the handcuffs off, but the
Right.
issue was his. Okay, so
He
his
don't got a
commander
key.
is calling and saying, "Hey Jack, slow the train down, stop the train." He tries the emergency brakes, but that doesn't work. And I'm like, okay, why don't you just take the thing that speeds and slows the train down and just do that? But you know, apparently the emergency brakes is the only way to stop a train.
Well, he could have slowed the train down.
Yeah,
but
that's what I'm saying. But instead of him,
but it wouldn't have stopped though, because it was a dead end. So they would have crashed. And
I don't know. I'm pretty sure the train, because I'm pretty sure when you pull down the lever, that's how the train stops, or at least there's something on there that stops the train other than the emergency brakes. Because what you went for was the emergency brakes.
yeah, I don't know. I don't know how trains.
I don't know how it works, but I'm pretty sure that lever was the reason how it slows and stops.
You could be absolutely right. I know there's a train operator looking at this movie going, "That's not how trains work," right?
And then he goes to Anne, and he's like, "I don't have the key." I'm like, what do you mean? I don't have the key. I can't get you out of this. So you know he's there trying to kick the pole, trying to do everything within his power. And I don't know why, but there was something in his back pocket. I don't know what it was. It looked like he had another gun in his back pocket. If he did, he could have just shot the roof of it and then got the pole off that way. But again, I don't know. He had it in his back pocket.
But no, he lost his. I don't know what was.
Yeah, he lost his gun. But I was like, what is in that back pocket of his? That's what I want to know.
Some SWAT equipment. I don't know.
So you know, he goes ahead, speeds up the train, brace for impact, stays with her.
Yeah, say he speeds up train because he knows the train is coming up on a curve. So his plan is to jump the tracks. If the train's too fast, it'll jump the tracks, and that's exactly what happens. And here's the weird thing, right? So she's handcuffed. She's not handcuffed to a pole. She has her hand wrapped around the pole,
pole,
and her hands are cuffed together, so like she's hugging the pole. So he puts his arm around her. They're basically embracing each other, and the train jumps off the track and it crashes. And
somehow
after
she gets free.
No, she's not free. She's still handcuffed.
I'm saying
but
she's
the
free
pole has disappeared. The pole is gone. The pole it's part of a disappearing act. And I'm like, the first thing I was like, what happened to the pole? It's like they
broke
don't care.
off. It broke off. That's what I saw.
It's like, well, we can't have the pole there because it'll get away of them kissing. We got to show them kissing at the end of the movie, or else it won't be good. So the pole, we're just gonna do this. I know everybody asks, well, why is there no pole? It's like, well, the audience will forget about the pole by the time we get to the end of this movie. So don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. And when they see it the second time, they might notice, but they won't notice the first time that the pole that the passenger was wrapped around, or the hostage was wrapped around, had disappeared by the end of the movie. And that's basically what happened.
Yeah, so the day is saved. Like one civilian, a bunch of police, SWAT officers died.
Yeah,
everyone else perfectly fine. Sure, there was some injuries, but you know they're perfectly fine.
Yeah,
they'll live.
Several people died during the watching of this movie. So let's go on to the trivia section. Find out. What was the dilly, yo? Hold on, I gotta turn on my tablet again because. All right, start us off.
Keanu Reeves breaking the glass on the bus door in the beginning of the movie was an accident. However, it was left in the final cut.
Yeah, and you could see it the entire time. Like, this wasn't the only bus that they had. They had several buses, so every time they used a different bus, they had to break the glass again. Because
it's like, wait, we can't just have a new, but break the glass. Go ahead.
Right. Which is kind of neat. I didn't, because that looked like it would be part of the movie, but nope, it was real glass, and he accidentally broke it. So that's when he was running up next to the bus, banging on the door, trying to get the driver to let him in the bus, and the driver wouldn't let him in, and I guess during that, he hit the door hard enough where it broke the glass. So A Fox. Oh shoot! Hold on a second.
Yeah.
Okay, I can see it now. A Fox producer realized they might have a hit on their hands when he noticed that during the test screenings, the audience members would walk backwards when they needed to go to the bathroom, so they would miss as little as
He was
possible.
like, hold on, I don't want to miss this part. Hold on, I know I gotta go, but just hold on. Okay, I'm safe for a little bit. Let me hurry up.
Right.
All right. Sandra Bullock actually learned to drive a bus for the film, passing her test on her first attempt.
Whoa, she went hardcore in that one.
How did you do on your test when you drove a truck?
No, I passed the first time, but I had a lot of help. The scene in which Annie, Sandra Bullock, takes the chewing gum out of her mouth and pretends to pull it out on her seat in order to have an excuse to change seats and move away from the obnoxious Steffens was improvised by Bullock. So you remember
that was a good way to move away
Right.
from someone.
Right.
Let me move. There was gum on this.
Right,
seat.
she was chewing gum, and then she starts to, because this dude is talking to her, trying to mack on her, and she don't want nothing to do with him, and she's behind him, so he can't really see what she's doing. So she takes the gum out of her mouth and then holds it up, pretending like she got it from her seat. She was like, "Ooh, there's gum on my seat. I have to go. There's gum on my seat," because that dude was being obnoxious.
10 buses were used in the making of the film. Each one had 2 steering wheels, one for Sandra Bullock, the other for the stunt driver, which was more often than not on the roof of the bus.
Yep. The bus jump scene. Okay. Yeah, I did read that right. The bus jump scene was not in the original script. Director Jean Debont came up with the idea one day when he was driving around Los Angeles and noticed one section of the I-105 freeway was missing.
He was like, you know what? We're making a jump scene.
Right. We're going to do that. We're going to put that in the movie.
The bus jump scene was done twice. As the bus landed too smoothly the first time, the bridge was actually there, but erased digitally.
Wow.
It was like, hold on. That was too smooth. Okay, we're going to do another one, but also we're going to take out that bridge digital.
But like when you look at it, the part that was missing, right? Hold on a sec. I got to yawn again. Okay. So anyway, I'm gonna have to do some heavy editing.
Of course.
Some heavy editing. So when you look at that bridge, it looks like a straight line. Like it doesn't like ramp up like a ramp would.
Yeah.
It's like a straight line. So it is my belief that had a bus attempted to jump a space like that, it would have went straight down. That's what I'm thinking.
That's what I'm thinking too. Because I'm like, when you look at it, it doesn't look like there's a ramp.
Right. If there was a ramp, I was like,
maybe. But there was no ramp.
There was no
ramp.
It was like straight. I was like, no, I'm not seeing it. I'm seeing it go straight down. Not really straight down, but like as it's on its way down, it'll hit the windshield will hit the other side of the bridge. Like it's not gonna make that jump. But it's Hollywood. And it looked good. So anyway, for the bus jump sequence, a ramp was built. Of course it was. The bus started from about 1 mile back and accelerated towards the ramp. By the time it hit the ramp, it had reached a speed of 61 miles per hour. It traveled 109 feet and its front wheel reached an altitude of 20 feet off the ground, which was higher than anyone had anticipated. Because of this, the cameras were not placed correctly, and the top front part of the bus goes out of frame when the bus reaches the maximum point of the jump. You got to anticipate that, man. You got to have multiple cameras set up.
A special bus was used for the bus jump scene. This bus was modified so it could reach a speed of 70 miles per hour, and it was equipped with a powerful shock absorber. The driver's seat was moved back 15 feet, so if something went wrong, the driver wasn't ejected from the bus. The seat itself was a suspension mechanism between the ceiling and the bus floor to prevent the driver from suffocating spinal compression on impact.
Suffering.
Suffering.
Right. But yeah. So everything had to be specially built and super safe. That basically tells you that this is not happening. Like it's
Like,
not
we
happening
want
in
this
real
stunt
life.
to happen, but we want to make it safe.
No, it's not. What I'm saying is that it's not happening.
Well,
in
yeah,
real
this
life.
is not going to
You're
happen.
Not going, you can't
in
do
real
this
life.
no
Oh no,
ordinary
that bus is not making it. That
That
bus is falling
even-
down. Explosion.
Even if it made the jump, it would have landed, and the shock absorbers would have bust, and that would have slowed the bus down, and it would have slowed down below 50 miles per hour and exploded. Like, oh, it's Hollywood. I love Hollywood. There was an instance where schoolboys saved the lives of a school bus full of kids when the driver had a heart attack by climbing onto the driver's lap and jumping on the brake pedal and pulling the bus to the side of the road. When asked later why he did it, he told him that he had seen that bus movie. At halftime, an NFL game, there was a ceremony hailing the boy as a hero. Did I write this right? At halftime during? Oh, okay. I didn't read it right. But
That
you get the
bus
gist.
movie.
You get
I'm
the
pretty
gist.
sure. Like, what bus movie?
They knew what bus movie. That was the biggest bus movie ever. I don't think there's been a biggest bus movie since then. So it's just like what Con Air did for airplanes, Speed did for buses.
Uh-huh. So Keanu Reeves did approximately 90% of his own stunts. Of course, the Keanu Reeves, he wants to do his own stunts. He's one of those people like, let me just do my own stunts. Just trust me on this. Let me do my own stunts just a little bit, I'll be fine.
Yeah, and he's in pretty good shape. And he had just did this is the movie that he just did after Point Break. So he's feeling himself. So he's feeling that he can do it. So the film literally ran out of money before it was completed. When the film was first previewed for an audience, the subway scenes were animated storyboards. The audience loved them so much that the studio came up with the funds to shoot the scenes properly.
He was like, you know what? Such a good scene. Do it. Let's shoot it. Come on, let's do it. Come on.
Yeah, they got to the
it.
end of the movie. They ran out of money.
Like,
So on the final scenes, they basically watched the cartoon.
They went to him. They was like, hey, director, what is it? We ran out of money. Shoot. You know what? Get some animated people. Have them do a storyboard. Let's see what the test audience is. They love it. We just need the money. Just need the extra money. That's all.
Right,
we
right.
can do it.
They needed a lot of extra money too.
Yeah. Keanu Reeves initially turned down the lead as he found Graham's Yost original script to be too much like Die Hard that came out in 1988. He signed on after John DeBont brought in Joss Whedon. Is that Joss Whedon?
Mm-hmm.
To rewrite the script. Yeah, he was like, you know what? Joss Whedon, come here. Rewrite the script. So it's not like Die Hard.
Right.
Please.
So
we want Keanu Reeves.
So what happened was, and they the studio had wanted to rewrite to add the subway scene because they didn't think that it was enough to just have. They didn't think people would spend 2 hours to watch a movie about a bus, right? So they added the subway scene. So that's why that's at the end of the movie. So Joss Whedon had all of it. The only thing they really kept from the original writer was the dialogue. And Josh Whedon is uncredited. Notice that I didn't read his name in the credits. Normally they would put the writer and that fact that he was uncredited, but they didn't do it in this particular IMDb entry. But yeah, Josh Whedon had a lot to do with why this movie is good. So John DeBont insisted that Keanu Reeves get a sensible haircut as would befit a hard-working cop. 20th Century Fox executives were horrified when they saw the buzz cut he adopted for the film, going so far as to threaten postponing the film so that he can grow his hair back.
Like, we don't like his haircut. He has to go back.
Right.
He doesn't go back. That film's not happening.
But you know what? The director was right. He was correct. And the other thing was that this is the shortest that Keanu Reeves' hair has ever been for a movie. So, like in other movies, his hair is either really long or it's like even in Point Break, it was short, but it wasn't that short, right? But this is like he was almost bald in this movie.
John DeBont cast Keanu Reeves as Jack Traven,
I think.
after seeing him in Point Break that came out in 1991. He felt that the actor was vulnerable on the screen. He's not threatening to men because he's not that bulky, and he looks great to women. He's like, yeah, you know what? I like how he looks. He's not too big. Women love him. He's Jack. There we go.
So and in a lot of action movies, they'll tell you that they tried to cast somebody like Arnold Schwarzenegger or Sylvester Stallone or somebody huge like that, or even somebody like Jean-Claude Van Damme, even though he's not as big as them, but he's still very muscular.
Yeah.
But the director didn't want that. He wanted a normal looking guy, and that was Keanu Reeves. So the watch Jack wears is a Casio G-Shock DW5600C. Had been discontinued by the time filming started. The company had to start making them again due to the film's success, bringing about a new demand. Well, the film's success was bringing about a new demand.
He was like, hold on. I want that watch that he had in the movie, but we don't make it. We'll make them.
Right.
It. Come on.
Yeah, those watches were real popular in the 90s. So, you know what? I had forgotten to ask you, what did you think of this movie?
I think it was a real good movie.
I knew that you would think it was a real good movie because I thought it was a real good movie. But
you know what's so funny?
Lots of people thought it was a real good movie.
You know what's so real funny?
What?
I think the reason why I somewhat know about this is because of two other movies. One of them was Hey Arnold, and they did like this bus scene where they had to jump a bridge.
Right, there you go.
And then there was also Bob's Burgers where I think there was something wrong with his restaurant. I think he had like green moss or something. Mm-hmm. And so they had to spend time out the restaurant/home they were in, and they had to go to a friend's house, which was like this. I'm trying to remember. It was like a church, not a church, but basically he builds caskets.
Right.
So they went to live over there, and then and Bob's like, "Well, this is my day off. This is the only time I get to do this." And he pulls out a kit of a bus, and he's like, "Yeah, this is the bus from Speed." and it's like it has a mini Keanu Reeves.
Oh, okay. So there, you had a primer. You had a primer for letting you know that this is a great movie. So, anyways, let's see what the critics think now. So the critics from Rotten Tomatoes, they gave it a 94%. The audience gave it 76%. So the critics loved it way more than the audience did. And when you go through the Rotten Tomatoes reviews, like their review section where they show all the professional critics, there was like 4 pages of critics, and most of those pages were fresh tomatoes. It was actually kind of hard to find a critic that did not like it, but I found them. So IMDb reviews gives it a 7.2, which is kind of in line with the Rotten Tomatoes audience score. Right. So tell us about what the critics were thinking.
So we got Tom Charity from Time Out Eventually. Time Out Eventually Inevitably.
Well, what he wrote was eventually. It starts off
okay. Yeah, he's from Time Out. So inevitably. Oh, inevitably. It goes too far, too fast, and ends up off the rails. How does it go too fast, too far?
Yeah, it's an action movie, and it's only 50 miles per hour. How is it going too fast? Man, it's an exciting movie. This dude don't like action movies. He's looking for romance. So read the next one. We're done with this dude.
Candace Russell from South Florida, Sun Central. If you have a thirst for hard action and suspense of a high order, Speed satisfies big time.
Candace is absolutely right.
Yep.
This movie does everything it was supposed to do. When you see this movie, you will be thrilled to the rim because that's what Speed does. So Kevin Turan of the Los Angeles Times wrote, "Action directing is a put up or shut up game, a skill that can't be faked or finessed. Even a 10-year-old can tell you that if you've got it or not. And on the evidence of the invigorating speed, John DeBont has definitely got it. Yes, yep. He had it for this movie, not so much some of the other movies that came after." And then Desson Thompson of the Washington Post, he wrote, "The plot becomes so overextended as Reeves and Hopper wage their endless public transportation battle. Even the hardest dieharders will consider leaping off way before the final stop No, you're dead wrong. Everybody loved this movie. What are you talking about? It's just you. Just say it's just me. Okay. Don't talk about everybody else. Don't say the heart is that hardest, because it's obviously not true. This movie made $300 million worldwide in 1995. In the 1990s. It's obviously not true. Okay. You just trying to discourage people from seeing the movie because you didn't like it. Well, joke's on you. People watched this movie and loved it. So, finally, you got any final thoughts on Speed?
No.
Just that you have to admit it was a great movie.
Yeah.
Awesome. So finally, Speed, as of this recording, is available on HBO Max. And next month, it's all Halloween all the time. And we'll be looking at my favorite horror movies to see if Zach can vibe with them. These are horror movies that Zach has never seen, and we don't even really watch horror movies in this house. But there were some that I saw growing up that I really like, and we're going to check them out for 4 weeks, all Halloween. And we're going to bring in, oh shit, I didn't even write this down. So we're going to have Josh from the VHS Files. He's going to guest with us, and we're going to talk about John Carpenter's Vampires. It's vampires done right. I believe it's the most correct depiction of vampires. And we're going to have Josh is a horror movie aficionado, and he's going to rock with us when we talk about John Carpenter's Vampires. So please join us. Please join us then. And one last time, if you like this show, then please help us grow. To do this, you can rate us or write a review on podchaser.com, Apple Podcasts, or your favorite podcast app. And you can also share our show with someone using the hashtag or at @BacklookCinema on your favorite social media sites.
Don't forget, you can contact us at fanmail at backlookcinema.com.
Believe me, it matters. Be safe, hug your loved ones, and be outstanding.